The Ravens' recent matchup has left fans and analysts alike shaking their heads. And it all seems to revolve around one glaring question: why was Derrick Henry not on the field when it mattered most? From the very beginning, the discussion has centered on the rotation decisions made by the coaching staff, a topic that continues to dominate the conversation on social media and sports talk shows. John Harbaugh has been clear about the challenges of making these decisions in real time, acknowledging that while he might have opted differently looking back, the execution during the game followed the rotation plan set in motion by the coaching team, essentially. The dialogue between Derrick Henry and Willie Taggart about who would start the series became the focal point, and the decision to begin with Catton Mitchell ultimately left fans incredulous. It wasn't just a missed opportunity. It became emblematic of a larger pattern that has plagued the team for years. A hesitation to put the star player in critical situations despite the obvious advantage. On that pivotal drive, the Ravens' approach was scrutinized from every angle. The play in question, particularly the third down involving Andrews, highlighted the team's strategic choices and the potential miscalculations of the coaching staff. Catton Mitchell, though talented, does not command the same level of respect from opposing defenses as Derrick Henry does. A fact that was painfully evident. Harbaugh admitted that in hindsight, putting Henry in the game was the preferable choice. But he also stressed the complexity of making such calls in the heat of the moment. Yet, the criticism stems not from hindsight alone, it stems from the reality that, when the game is on the line, clarity and decisiveness fall squarely on the head coach. Fans, media, and former players alike have expressed disbelief, and the frustration is amplified by the consistency of such occurrences. The decision-making process, while defensible under normal rotation strategies, fails when the stakes are highest and the game hangs in the balance. Analyzing the sequence of events, it becomes clear that this is not an isolated incident. The Ravens have faced similar moments in the past, where critical plays hinged on key decisions that did not go in their favor, even when the ball was in play or the situation clearly called for Henry's presence. The rotation strategy prevailed, leaving observers questioning whether the coaching staff is overly cautious or simply adhering too rigidly to predetermined plans. Harbaugh's analogy about the challenges of real-time decision-making underscores the complexity, but for many, it does little to assuage the sense of frustration. The team's inability to capitalize on its star running back at the most crucial moments represents a breakdown in leadership and situational awareness that cannot be ignored. The broader implications for the Ravens extend beyond this single game. The team's postseason prospects are precarious, and the reliance on rotation-based decisions, rather than aggressive deployment of top talent, raises serious concerns about strategy and leadership. The comparisons to other sports, like Tony Dungy's analogy to resting a hot-handed player in basketball, resonate because they simplify a fundamental principle. When a player is performing at an elite level, particularly in high-pressure moments, they must be utilized to their fullest potential. The hesitation to do so has become a recurring theme for the Ravens, raising questions about whether the coaching philosophy needs to evolve, or if a new voice is required to break these patterns. Harbaugh's perspective on coaching highlights a tension between delegation and accountability. While delegating decisions to assistants is a common approach, the ultimate responsibility rests with the head coach, particularly when the outcomes are as significant as playoff positioning or critical game moments. This dynamic has played out repeatedly, leading to moments of bewilderment from fans and analysts who cannot reconcile the decisions made with the potential outcomes. If Derrick Henry had been more prominently featured, the tension between strategic rotation and instinctive decision-making continues to shape the narrative around the team, especially as they navigate a season filled with highs and lows, unexpected victories, and disappointing collapses. Media coverage has amplified the scrutiny, questioning Harbaugh's future and evaluating his tenure with a critical lens. While his track record in the regular season remains impressive, the pattern of playoff disappointments has increasingly drawn attention. Observers point to a combination of factors: strategic choices, player deployment, and the ability to adapt in real time. Each decision becomes a case study in leadership, with fans and commentators alike analyzing the ripple effects of a single snap, a single rotation, or a single missed opportunity. Harbaugh's candid acknowledgement that he would have made different choices in hindsight offers some transparency, but it also highlights the recurring challenge of making the right call in the moment. Beyond the specific game decisions, the conversation has evolved to encompass Harbaugh's overall leadership and vision for the team. His focus remains on execution and preparation, emphasizing the importance of addressing each day as it comes rather than fixating on future job security. This philosophy, while admirable, contrasts sharply with the expectations of fans and media, who measure success by postseason achievements and critical wins. The pressure is compounded by ownership dynamics, particularly with Steve Bisciotti, whose approach to leadership and expectations for team performance adds another layer of complexity. Harbaugh's relationship with the owner, characterized by support and challenge, illustrates the balancing act required of a coach managing both internal and external pressures. The narrative surrounding the Ravens has become one of resilience and frustration. The team has repeatedly faced skepticism, criticism, and high-stakes situations that test the limits of leadership and performance, from early season struggles to mid-season comebacks. The Ravens' trajectory has been marked by dramatic swings that fuel both excitement and concern. Moments like the Derrick Henry decision highlight not only the tactical considerations, but also the symbolic importance of deploying top talent in crucial situations. Fans, analysts, and former players continue to debate the implications, weighing the potential benefits of decisive action against the reality of rotation-based strategies. As the season progresses, the questions surrounding Harbaugh's tenure, the team's strategic choices, and the role of star players like Derrick Henry remain central. The ongoing discussion reflects broader themes in sports leadership, the balance between preparation and improvisation, the impact of individual talent on team outcomes, and the critical importance of making timely decisions under pressure. Each game becomes a microcosm of these challenges, and the Ravens' experiences this season provide a compelling case study. In the complexities of coaching at the highest level, fans and observers are left watching closely, analyzing each decision, and considering the long-term implications for both the team and the coach, who has guided them through nearly 2 decades of highs and lows. The story of the Ravens is one of opportunity and accountability, of moments where split-second decisions define outcomes and legacies. Derrick Henry's absence from the field in a critical drive serves as a focal point for examining leadership, strategy, and the interplay between star power and team dynamics. Harbaugh's reflections offer insight into the challenges of coaching, while also fueling debate over whether a new approach or fresh perspective is needed. The season continues, and with it, the scrutiny, analysis, and passionate discussion among fans, media, and former players remain relentless, all centered on the hope that the Ravens can align talent, strategy, and leadership when it matters most. As the Ravens look ahead, the aftermath of the Patriots game continues to cast a long shadow over Baltimore. The questions surrounding the coaching staff, player utilization, and overall team strategy are not simply academic, they have real consequences for the season and for the future of the franchise. Derrick Henry's absence from the field at the most critical moment remains the focal point for fans and analysts, a symbol of broader frustrations with decision-making and leadership. It is not merely about one series or one drive, it is about a pattern that has persisted for years, highlighting recurring issues in situational judgment and the ability to make bold calls. Under pressure, the conversation inevitably turns toward playoff implications, roster management, and the way leadership choices impact both immediate outcomes and long-term trajectory. John Harbaugh's approach to coaching has always emphasized preparation, process, and player relationships, but this philosophy can clash with the demands of high-stakes games. In moments where instincts and immediate judgment are required, hesitation or rigid adherence to preset rotations can be costly. The debate over Derrick Henry versus Catton Mitchell is emblematic of this tension. While Mitchell has been a reliable contributor, he does not carry the same game-changing presence as Henry. The fact that a situation arose in which the star running back was not utilized to his fullest potential illustrates a disconnect between coaching strategy and situational necessity. Fans have responded with frustration and incredulity. Media analysts have dissected the choices endlessly, and former players have voiced their disbelief, all underscoring that this is more than a single incident. It is a reflection of a pattern that has haunted the Ravens for multiple seasons. Harbaugh's commentary in the aftermath provides insight into the challenges of real-time coaching decisions. He acknowledges that, in hindsight, Derrick Henry should have been on the field, but he also explains the constraints of immediate judgment and the flow of communication between players and coaching staff. Yet, the expectation is clear: when the season hangs in the balance, the responsibility ultimately falls on the head coach to make the call that maximizes the team's chances. The rotation strategy, while sound in theory, must be balanced with the practical realities of player capabilities, defensive matchups, and game momentum. The failure to deploy Henry during such a critical moment becomes a case study in how strategy, communication, and decisiveness intersect under the intense pressure of professional football. Looking at the broader picture, it becomes evident that these issues extend beyond any single game. The Ravens' performance over the season has been a roller coaster, marked by early losses, mid-season comebacks, and moments of high drama that alternate between elation and disappointment. The team's ability to recover from setbacks demonstrates resilience. Yet the recurring pattern of late-game struggles raises concerns about preparation, focus, and strategic clarity. The Patriots' game crystallized these challenges, revealing vulnerabilities in situational judgment and the prioritization of star talent in critical moments. While Harbaugh emphasizes the complexity of coaching in real time, the recurring nature of these incidents suggests that structural or philosophical adjustments may be necessary to prevent similar outcomes in the future. The scrutiny on Harbaugh's tenure is heightened by the ownership dynamics in Baltimore. Steve Bisciotti's role as owner adds a layer of accountability and expectation. Harbaugh has praised Bisciotti's leadership, citing his combination of support and challenge as a motivating factor in his coaching approach. Yet, the reality of professional sports is that ownership ultimately assesses performance through outcomes, particularly in the postseason. While Harbaugh's regular season record has been impressive, the pattern of playoff disappointments and missed opportunities has placed him under intense scrutiny. Fans and analysts debate not only the specific decisions made in games, but also the larger question of whether a new voice or approach could better align strategy, execution, and star player utilization with the team's ambitions. The Ravens' season thus far has been a microcosm of the tension between potential and execution. Derrick Henry's star power, Lamar Jackson's dynamic playmaking, and the contributions of role players like Catton Mitchell all interact within a framework defined by coaching philosophy, strategy, and game-time decision-making. When moments of critical importance arise, the ability to deploy top talent effectively is tested. The Patriots' game served as a stark reminder of how high-pressure situations can expose the limits of decision-making frameworks that rely heavily on rotation or preset strategies. Fans are left to reconcile the talent on the field with the results, questioning whether the coaching staff is maximizing opportunities or allowing patterns of indecision to dictate outcomes. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. The NFL world is buzzing with speculation after whispers surfaced that the Baltimore franchise is eyeing one of the league's most electrifying running backs, Christian McCaffrey, in a potential blockbuster move. If true, the implications for the Ravens' backfield are nothing short of seismic. Already anchored by the imposing Derrick Henry, Baltimore would be assembling a running back duo that could redefine modern offensive football. Imagine the sheer nightmare for opposing defenses. McCaffrey's agility, versatility, and unmatched receiving skills paired with Henry's relentless power in downhill running. The combination seems almost unfair, a dual threat that could challenge defensive coordinators like never before. Sources close to team insiders hint that Baltimore's front office has been quietly exploring every avenue to make this pairing a reality. Rumors suggest the team is willing to make significant roster adjustments and financial maneuvers to accommodate McCaffrey's presence. Analysts are already speculating how such a backfield would function. Would McCaffrey operate as the space-creating, gadget-style runner while Henry bulldozes through the trenches? Or could the two be rotated in tandem to keep defenses guessing on every snap? The possibilities are tantalizing and have fans dreaming of highlight reels that would dominate social media for weeks. Of course, questions abound. Would McCaffrey's injury history be a concern for a team investing so heavily in him? Can two elite backs coexist without one seeing their value diminished? Yet, for a franchise that has long sought a true, game-changing running back tandem, the potential payoff seems worth the gamble. Fantasy football players are already fantasizing about the stat lines, while traditionalists can't help but imagine the sheer physicality Henry brings contrasted with McCaffrey's finesse. While nothing is confirmed, the rumor alone has sent shockwaves through the league, igniting debates across sports talk shows and online forums. Baltimore fans are left dreaming of a backfield that could enter the history books, a pairing that might finally make defenses question whether they can stop two of the NFL's most dynamic talents at once. If this move comes to fruition, it could mark a new era not just for Baltimore, but for the concept of running back dominance in the modern game. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.